Welcome to Marketing with Confidence. I'm your host, Marianne Amies. We're going to be talking all things digital and online marketing for business owners and marketing professionals. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by your digital marketing, be sure to listen along and you'll hear tips, interviews and more that will give you the confidence to create marketing you love. Today, I want to talk to you about the digital checklist for CEOs. As I've been talking about across my socials and here on the podcast, as a CEO of your business, there comes a time when you outsource the doing in your business. And that may mean that you once looked after your own social media and now you've outsourced it to an agency, or you once looked after your social media and now you have a team or you have an assistant or a VA, someone else that's managing your social media and you are no longer on the tools. When you let go of your digital marketing, at first it feels really freeing. It's really nice to not have the pressure of, designing and developing content from scratch, creating visual assets, writing captions, crafting blog posts, formulating newsletters. But over time, what can happen is you start to feel like the message is lost, or you're investing money and you're not sure if you're getting the best returns you could. Obviously, you're investing money both in the resources of outsourcing, but at the same time, you're investing in the outcomes. If your marketing's being poorly managed, you're not just losing the money you're spending either with the resource or with advertising, you're also losing potential revenue for a more optimized approach. So I can't stress enough as a CEO, when you move into outsourcing your digital marketing, that you stay in control. And being in control is about having a real clear vision of who your marketing is for, what your marketing is looking to achieve, and then how it's actually performing. I'm amazed at how many business owners outsource things like Google Ads and don't receive monthly reports. I'm amazed at how many business owners I work with tell me that nobody ever explained the reports, that they don't know what the data means. They don't know how good success looks versus poor performance. So what I want to run you through today is a checklist, talking through both the foundations and then the monitoring elements that you as a CEO really need to be across to regain control of your digital marketing, and empowering you to ask better questions, to see through data, both the good and the bad, and uncover the real learnings for yourself. I've spoken a lot about likening the data that digital marketing can give you to the data that as a CEO you get from, say, your accountant or your financial support within your business. We know the importance of our financial reporting. We know the importance of our P&L. We know that we have to lodge our BAS every quarter, and we read those numbers with some degree of confidence, or we have support to break down those numbers and use them as a light or a guide as to how our business is performing. In the same way, I really believe that digital marketing can benefit from you being across reports that become like the P&L, become like the balance sheet and the cash flow of your digital marketing side of your business, helping to guide you in your decision making and to really assess that performance. So to start off with the checklist, I wanted to share with you a bit of a foundational checklist. These are the foundations I think you need to have in place before outsourcing your marketing, whether that is, internally to a team or an assistant, or whether it's externally to an agency or a virtual assistant. Number one, having a clear idea of your ideal client. It's the foundation of digital marketing strategy, and understanding who you are best to talk to, understanding who your product or service can best benefit is the absolute number one box you need to be really clear on. If you're not clear on that, the partners that you work with are not going to be clear on that, and you are not going to have an optimized digital marketing strategy. So getting really clear on your ideal client is the first tick in the foundation checklist. Then we have our content pillars. Once we're really clear on who we want to talk to, we can map out what we want them to know, what we want to educate them in, how we want them to perceive us and our message, and what questions we're going to answer for them. And these become what we call our content pillars. Agreeing on these content pillars, again, with your outsourced partners, means that your digital marketing has the reference point of not only who you're talking to, but what you're trying to achieve within those markets as well. And then number 3 is a channel plan. So a channel plan is looking at our ideal client profile and deciding where we want to engage them, whether that's via email, whether it's SMS, whether we want to work on our SEO and really be there when they're Googling for their questions, or whether it's Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. Having a very clear channel plan and having that agreed up front means that you now have a who, a what, and a where for your digital marketing, and you're in some ways in control of that. Depending on the level of expertise in which you're working with, I would also expect this party to be able to strategically guide you, to give you strategic recommendations, and to help you to adjust the plan as you go, with changes in the digital marketing landscape, with changes in the consumer market landscape, with changes to your business, your product offer, your service focus. The more junior a person that you work with, I would expect less of the strategic and more of the doing. And then if you're working with an agency, or you have a team structure where you might have a more senior marketer in that team, I would expect for this strategy to be something that you're consulted in, but you're not necessarily guiding. So when you have your foundations in place, your outsourced resource will be able to essentially run your digital marketing for you. You might have promotions that you map out. You might go with key calendar focuses. If you're an e-com, it might be about Afterpay Day and Click Frenzy. If you're a service-based business, it might be about end of financial year or Mother's Day or Easter. So you may be looking at what I call a seasonal calendar, or you may be looking at a commercial calendar, but you may, map out that 6 months ahead with the key on calendar events that you're going to maximize within your marketing. And we set out to execute digital marketing across the agreed channels, focusing on our content pillars to connect with our ideal client. Then the most important aspect, I believe, the meatier part of your checklist is ensuring that you have access to the reporting and data that can help you make informed decisions about how your digital marketing is performing for your business. Assessing performance of your digital marketing is difficult. As you know by now, I love my numbers. I also love to present data that is easy to consume. What you don't want as a CEO is to be presented digital data that is meaningless to you because it is too complex, it is too complicated. And on the other hand, you want to be really careful that you understand the data being presented, because we can often make data say different things depending on the lens in which we're looking at it. So on one hand, I can tell you that 4 out of 10 people, can recall our brand, but on the other hand, 6 out of 10 people can't. So, within that statistic is always the pair of the statistic. And depending on the lens that we're looking through, we can present that information to be more positive or more negative, or to answer different questions that we may have. So when it comes to monitoring, I think this is, if the first part of the checklist around foundations, you'd liken to say your business plan and your annual budgeting. I would liken monitoring to your, reviewing your P&L each month, looking at your BAS each quarter. Monitoring needs to be a series of activities that you are always across. You need to arm yourself with enough knowledge to ask really informed questions and to be able to understand the answers that you're getting back, have the confidence to push back when things don't make sense, be able to navigate the jargon that's getting thrown at you, and really identify if you've become, found yourself in a situation where the honeymoon period is over and your business is maybe being deprioritized by your outsourced partner. So when it comes to monitoring your business, a great checklist of data that I would be wanting in my business to be reviewing every month is firstly my website traffic. So with my website traffic, I'd love to know how many people came to the website versus last month. I'd like to know how long they stayed, the percent that bounced, and depending on my type of business, the number that went on to convert and what that conversion value is. Now, in every business, we can't track that, and your outsourced partner will not be able to track it. If you're an e-com business, very easy for most systems to talk to Google and be able to track that data for you, and really important if you can get that up and running. If you're a service-based business, you may be able to track things like contact forms or phone calls, again, depending on your business structure and objectives. But being able to track what is happening on your website, I like to see it month versus the month prior. I might want to see it, this month versus last year. Just depends, again, on what's happened in your business. And then I love to see it broken down by channel. So I love to know all that website data I just spoke about. I love to see it in its total, but I also like to see it broken down by organic search, paid ads, social media, direct traffic, and referral traffic, because there's a lot of insight you can draw from that, especially depending on where your marketing activity is focused, to find out if the marketing activity you're doing is actually driving the right results within your website. I also like, from a social media perspective, to receive data each month that tells me about growth. So growth of follower numbers. I want to know what my engagement did overall. I want to know what my reach did overall. I also want to know about my top 3 posts. I love looking at top 3 and bottom 3. I love looking at that on a monthly basis and probably a quarterly basis as well to make more informed decisions. Your top 3 and bottom 3 performing posts over time tells you so much about what your audience does and doesn't resonate with, tells you what you need to do more of and what you need to do less of. And if you're running paid ads, the insights you can draw from your organic, best performance and poor performance can also really inform your decisions on the type of paid ad content that your audience is going to engage with as well. So when it comes to paid ads, in the social space, I want to understand the data relative to the objective, and that's a little bit complex to break down in this podcast, but I might do another episode on it and get a bit deeper. But at a top level, I want to know what we spent. I want to know how many people we reached. I want to know how many of the required actions we got. So if we were going after clicks, if we're going after leads, if we're going after conversions, video views, whatever it was, I want to know how many of that happened, and I want to know what it cost me on average for each of those actions to happen. And if it's a campaign where we can track dollars, I want to know the amount of dollars the campaign generated and how that relates back to my investment. Google Ads are similar, but a bit deeper. I want to see what keywords really drove my campaign to success. And I also want to get a feel for what people were searching versus the keywords that we targeted, and any key differences there. That information around, the keywords people searched that brought them to our ads can really help to give you new insight into what's going to resonate best with your customer, and new keywords you could be adding to your campaigns to get more cut through. I also don't mind just having a really rough and ready SEO tracking for reporting. So if you've got sort of 5 to 10 keywords, just someone regularly checking in on where they're sitting, just having, looking at the position, looking at what's going up and looking at what's going down. It can just be done by Googling your particular keyword, electrician Bondi, and you're on page 4 position 2 last month, and now you're on page 3 position 1. What did you do? Was it blog posts? Was it ads? Was it more content? What can we do more of to keep moving it? Or if you get pushed back a number of spaces. So just keeping your eye on organically what is happening in your space. And then from an email perspective, I want to know how many emails went out. I want to know their open rate. Again, if we can track conversion dollars, I want to know what that is. Otherwise, I want to know things like clicks. I want to know if they did anything else on site after opening the email. And finally, I want to know how my subscriber list is growing, and perhaps if I have some specific activities tied to growing that list, I want to know how they're performing. So it's a big wish list when it comes to monitoring. It's a really big checklist, and I will endeavour to get this up on the website as well as a downloadable for you. But, being in control doesn't have to mean doing. If you follow along on social media, last year I spoke a lot about just because I can do it doesn't mean I should. And, depending on how you've grown within your business, some of this data may be data you can pull down yourself. But if you're working with an outsourced partner and you're moving into that CEO mindset, it's really important that you set the parameters around the reports you want to receive, and you have the person responsible pull that data and present it to you. And part of that is accountability. When somebody presents to you data month in, month out, and as you are building your digital acumen and you're able to assess what that performance means, and you're asking challenging questions or difficult questions, that person has more accountability as to why this didn't work, why this worked. And we always want to be in that growth mindset as well. Poor performance doesn't mean end of days. It just means we need to try something else. We need to tweak. We need to test, measure, and learn. Can't tell you how big an advocate I am of that either. But look, I hope this has been a really helpful overview for you in terms of the sort of digital marketing checklist and the checklist as a CEO that you really need to be across and understand for your business. I'd love to hear anything that I missed. Please share with me your thoughts either on LinkedIn or on Instagram. And I really hope that this is a valuable checklist that can help you to feel in control of your digital marketing. Hey, thanks for listening to another episode. If you don't want to miss one, make sure you subscribe to the show in your podcast app. And if you love it, be sure to share it with friends and colleagues who you think could benefit from increasing their digital marketing confidence. Want more? Head to marianneamies.com to find out how you can work with me directly, to reach out to have me speak at your event, or to grab yourself some free resources.